Today I'm joined by Arta Istrefi, a distinguished expert in strategic thinking, organizational growth, entrepreneurship, and project management. She is also a co-founder of a platform called narwhal.network. Her career is marked by a deep passion for community building and mentorship, which led her to take the initiative in developing the entrepreneurial ecosystem in Kosovo. Meanwhile, my biggest initiative lately has been keeping my one houseplant alive. So, we are both making a significant contribution to our respective ecosystems. Arta, welcome. How are you doing?
Thank you very much. I'm doing well. Keeping a houseplant alive is not as easy as you think. You need three things, I believe. You need watering, lightening, and you need to take care of that. And this is the same for a portfolio career. You will need multiple jugglings. You will need to diversify your career. So there are some similarities, I would say.
Yeah, I can see the similarities also. Although I need to admit that I'm not really good at keeping, because this house plant is like the fourth one already. So,
It's always a learning process.
It is.
Try to have the fifth one. I'm
thank
sure
you.
it will work.
Thank you. This means a lot to me, Arta, you are developing an entrepreneurial ecosystem in Kosovo. Tell me more about this project.
Well, I have started to work with private sector 12 years ago through different international projects. In the last 4 years, I have focused more on the tech industry, specifically working with companies from Kosovo through Swiss Entrepreneurship Program. So this is a program that supports startups in Kosovo with international experts on mentorship, coaching, and also the investment. Through the entrepreneurship or the entrepreneurial ecosystem, I've had the chance also to work with policymakers as well as academia, where I'm a chairwoman at a public university, and I'm advocating all the time to add the entrepreneurship at as early stage as possible, so it creates a mindset, and then at a later stage it becomes less of a challenge for an ecosystem in Kosovo, which is still at an infant stage, I would say.
Tell me, what is one main lesson you learned from this project?
Everything starts with a mindset. So I am a true believer that it's always easy to work with people that have growth mindset. Very difficult to work with people that have fixed mindset. So I would divide the two categories here of different people where they believe that what they're doing is an absolutely perfect thing. And then this other group of people that always strive or look for more. With this other group of people, we at the Swiss Entrepreneurship Program try to inspire all the time to move from services into products. Because services is usually good money for the beginning, but it does not necessarily create a stability for the future, as well as when you create your product, you have some ownership, you have some authenticity in your business. It's not like you're selling just labor, but you're also selling your vision, your mission, and all that.
Interesting, yeah. So from your experience, as far as I know, you're working a lot with entrepreneurs, so on and so forth. What common mistakes do entrepreneurs make, and how to avoid them?
I've been mentor for years and jury member, and I've been part of many pitch competitions in the Western Balkan. And one thing that I have noticed is that those teams, they get together with a lot of passion, friendship, with the idea of doing big things, good things. But then they miss one aspect, which is having a leader. And a leader does not necessarily mean that he or she is the best or the most knowledgeable or whatever. But they need to have someone who takes decision. And the team has to trust this person instead of trying to fight or complain or say that you're less knowledgeable than me, or the other way around. I've met many teams that were really good. They had good idea, they had good prototype, they even made the product, and once they started to sell, the problems started with this group of team or lack of decision maker structure. So I would say that this is the number one thing, how to work it out, like how to solve this issue. I think it's a matter of culture a lot. It's a matter of mindset, as I said, a lot. Because when people start to do this teamwork from school, at a later stage it will be a bit easier to understand, because they could relate in the past that it's normal to have a leader in the team that takes decision, and then the fighting will be less, or at least it will shorten the time of trying together, because sometimes it's true that you might not find good fit with each other, but in most of the cases it is related to having the same vision, where one person could decide for the future and the rest will help, will complement with their work to make their company successful.
Yeah, now you're talking about this, I remembered. I think I had a similar experience actually with my previous startup or company. I don't know how to call it. So we were two founders, 50-50, of course, two founders. And
this is one of the first mistake I've seen. One should be 51. It's not always important about the money. It's more about the decision making.
Exactly.
Sometimes people misunderstand because there are two people and everything has to be equally kind of put in the trade-off, let's say.
Yeah, and now in hindsight, I see this was our cardinal mistake, not having one with 51%, because eventually our path just kind of separated. Like our visions of how the company should look like and what type of even what type of customers we should work with, we just grow apart and then we separated. We are still friends, but then it wasn't pretty. For a week it was really tough. From that day on I said, if I ever go into this kind of relationship of co-founding, either I am the 51% owner or like somebody else is, but then like, you have the vision. I mean, you are, pulling all the strings basically.
Yeah, defining roles really help.
So tell me again, like we are talking about entrepreneurship, and let's touch upon the woman's side, the women's side of entrepreneurship. I mean, do you think? I mean, of course, women should be entrepreneurs. That's a non-starter. But where do you see the difference? I mean, is there equality in your opinion, or there's no equality? Like,
this can be a whole podcast, but I'll try to be short. The thing is that roles were sort of defined in the past, or history defined that. And then they kept going for a while and until the change started. So let's say where I come from, usually I grew up in a family of doctors and professors. So going into business was a no-go in my family because it's like, you have to work for a state or you have to be a professor. So these were the kind of roles that you were entitled to do, and it was first school and then you do the work. So when you grow up in this kind of society, because it wasn't just my family, but it was more of a post-socialism that was in Kosovo, Albania, North Macedonia, and more or less the same region, the whole region of Western Balkan had similar mentality. Then it's not so easy to have those outliers, those women that would go out and do the extra mile and do the changes. In the last 10 years, the change is dramatic, I would say. I've met so many women with 2 kids, 3 kids, having 2 businesses. So this is, to me, an amazing news because they are the role models. They are the inspiration for younger generation that you can be a good mom, you can be a professional person, you can have a PhD, but at the same time be a good business person, a good entrepreneur. And entrepreneurship is actually changing or helping the society to solve a problem. So this is in line with what women usually do, which is usually creating the value for the business. And you see most of the women are into social entrepreneurship or that are pretty much driven by solving health issues or having some of the fields that is education in digital transformation for kids. So those are some of the roles that they have taken into business. However, there's room for improvement, or when you said about how is the situation between men and women, it's more, I wouldn't really say like men are better entrepreneur than women. I don't want to go into that discussion. It's more, again, related to the mindset. And I would like women to have more self-confidence and say like, okay, starting a business is something that you can manage, because it is usually advocated in the media from many people that business is extremely tough. So women cannot do that, especially if you want to have a family. So you cannot do both. But having a fixed job or working for an organization is also 8 hours outside your home. Where with entrepreneur you would have the value added and then you can have the flexibility to work. So there are a lot of advantages on that. So as I said, we need more pioneers of women that would show that this is possible to have. I wouldn't call it balance, because there is no such thing as balance. It's more like integrating that, because sometimes you need to be 100% home and sometimes you need to be 100% with work. So it's very important that when you're 100% at work, somebody would take care of kids and the family. So you're not the only one who has that whole weight in your shoulder. This is the thing where that woman needs a little bit of ecosystem to support this whole journey of herself.
Yeah, awesome. I mean, yeah, you got me thinking now. I mean, the difference between entrepreneurship and having 9-to-5 job is entrepreneurship. Yeah, it's tough. It can be, of course, it is. But it also can give you the amount of freedom that 9-to-5 jobs sometimes cannot. And I kind of think about a friend of mine who they got a kid 2 years ago, and I was talking with this friend of mine. And he said like they are the lucky ones, because his partner, she's working in a school. She's a teacher, So basically she ends her job before, around 2 or something like that. So she can pick up their son, and stay with him the rest of the afternoon. And also like during the summer break, they're together, And he said to me, yeah, we are so lucky, because otherwise if she would have any other job, 9-to-5 job, this wouldn't be possible.
You see, it's always a perspective. I'll tell you one very short example of a very good friend of mine who has 3 kids, and she's running 2 businesses. She told me once a very important highlight, because we were discussing about these challenges, and she said, I had this very important meeting set in the morning, and then all of a sudden my daughter started to cry, and she said, I really want to stay with you. You're working all the time. I want to tell you something that is extremely important. And then she said, what I did? I asked the person to postpone the meeting, because that moment my daughter needed me. So she sat with her, she talked with her, and everything was sorted out. She was back to work. With a fixed job, this would not be possible, because you're not the leading role there, where you could say like, oh, I cannot attend right now the meeting because my daughter is crying. So there are so many benefits that sometimes women underestimate by saying, oh, I have a lot of work. The one thing that differs fully with a fixed job is that you would really need to think most of the time. Like, you will have to mingle and jungle between the family and your work. But with technology, this is much easier because you might scroll on your phone to look for something, or use the time after, let's say, kids are sleeping or something like that, so that you still reach that productivity or that goal that you wanted to do during the day.
Yeah, we touched upon this before the podcast. We were talking a little bit, and you said again something interesting. It's about perspective and how to manage your time, because of course in the morning your kids, they need you need to prepare for school, so you can take this time and then just work on the things that you could work in the morning, at night when they go to bed. So yeah, this is also again just a perspective shift, basically. It sounds so easy, although I don't have kids yet. I will see when I get a kid.
So I'm telling you that for 4 years I did my PhD working only 2 hours per day, which was 5 to 7. Before the kids woke up, and I wrote the whole thesis and I did most of the work during that time. Awesome. Was it easy? No, but is there any easy work that would bring you a lot of reward? I doubt. Raising kids is not easy, but adding a bit of flavor in it makes it more fun and interesting. And it's always kind of a rewarding when your kids see you as a role model, so you kind of push yourself even more to do more.
Interesting. Yeah. So what do you think, what can you pinpoint, like, or maybe we already did that, but can you pinpoint the one unique challenge that a woman entrepreneur faces vis-a-vis a male entrepreneur?
I think it's very, very important to have a strong character and to never be drawn back by words of people. Women, more than men, always are labeled. It's super easy to label a woman. So no matter what you do, no matter how good you are, there's always something not good with a woman. So as long as this is not influencing your life, I think it's quite an easy path, to be honest, because there might be many comments, particularly in the tables where there are decision makers. And when I say decision makers, they are mainly men that usually they would say something that might particularly make you uncomfortable in that moment, but it's very important to be able to respond in a way that it does not influence who you are or what your plans are for the future. Once you pass this, you kind of are more mature in this regard. I think things start to work much easier and better. But it's not easy for younger girls. Like, I can say that it's easy now for me, but it wasn't when I was 18 or 19, because you just feel different at that age. You're not mature enough to handle all these situations, but it's a learning process. Your skin gets a bit thicker when you have all of this experience, so then it becomes kind of natural to joke around these things rather than take it personal or take it as a dramatic experience.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I also remember the time when, I mean, I didn't have thick skin. Like, I love my parents, but they were helicopter parents, you know. And I mean, you know, they were trying to kind of shelter me, like, from the reality of the world, which is, life sometimes sucks, you know. And then I remember I moved to Warsaw, to Poland, all by myself, and that was the first time when I was like 27, you know, so I was a grown up man, you know. And that was the first time when I was away from home and I had to take care of myself, and I kind of realized, oh shit, yeah, this can be tough sometimes, you know. But yeah, as you said, then eventually, you know, you just need to go through it, and with every experience, your skin just becomes thicker, and that's the beauty of life, if you ask me, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah. Let's return back to entrepreneurship, you know. So, are there any, like, what are the most rewarding moments in your career relating to the community building and leadership?
In terms of leadership, I had my first position as an advisor to the Minister of Trade and Industry when I was only 23 years old. So I've had the chance to spend time with leaders, which I feel I was lucky. Then taking decisions as a board of director now in the university, in the past in other boards where I was having a seat. And as a community builder, I am a founder of Women Entrepreneurs Kosovo. And again, I've worked with rape victims during the war and rape victims after the war. I've worked with fixed mindset women and growth mindset women. When I decided to create this community, it was definitely linked to this growth mindset women, because I realized that that's the only place where I could have an impact. The rest is more like an injection, a momentum injection, but I will not solve the issue. So the best moment for me is when I realized that they started to do business without my personal facilitation, but they would call and say, thank you so much for this. Just a week before, a lady launched a product in health tech, and she is a health coach, and she told me that I never thought that I should be an entrepreneur, and I thought that the health should be only to give, but not to ask for money. And then she said, during all these meetings with mentors and with your support, I ended up actually doing this as a platform and as a business. And that's, to me, the highest rewarding that I felt.
Yeah, I can imagine that, like seeing people that you are mentoring eventually succeed. That's something.
Yeah. It is a good feeling.
Yeah. As a co-founder of narwhal.network, tell us more about the network itself, and like where did this initiative came from?
Yeah. I'm super excited about this new journey. Ever since I started working when I was 16, with salary since 17, I always did more than one thing, but I never knew how to call myself. Like, am I a fractional worker, a freelancer, or what is my personality? With Narwhal, we had the discussion that it will be extremely important to have a portfolio career, particularly for women. I think this is even more vivid compared to men, because it's linked to this freedom to choose. A woman can say, like, okay, I want to work 50% and I'm fine with it, or have 2-3 jobs which will be divided in different percentages and get more paid if you're in a situation to in a period of time where you want to do this. So when I had the conversation with Ethan, he approached first and said, this is my idea, what do you think? I said, okay, this is what is really missing out there as a platform, because I've been talking to so many people and everyone was saying, like, how do you do this? How do you manage this? And how can I be a narwhal? Like, how can I benefit and succeed in having more than one job? Or even more importantly, how can I have an international career? Now with the remote work or even hybrid, this is possible. Not so many people have the opportunity to travel a lot and to work with different teams with different cultures. So through Narwhal, we will really help a lot of people globally to diversify their portfolio, to find the companies that are good fit for them, and to not be maybe surrounded with a smaller group in their own maybe small bubble, but to search from home, which I believe this is the greatest part of technology, which can offer. On the other side, the companies' number one struggle for them is always talent. So they, most of the CEOs spend up to 9 months to hire somebody, and there's a lot of costs in that, and there's a lot of processes in that. So through Narwhals, this would be less time, but also with a global expertise, very specific expertise, where we will help to match them. Narwhal will also help to particularly on the side of individuals, where they would require or they would like to have a job, to help to write a better information, not necessarily a CV, but their own portfolio, because one of the main things that many people lack is how to present themselves. So by having the conversation, by getting to know more these people, we would be able to present the right way, which would fit better the company for the talent that they are requiring. So, it's an exciting journey, and I met Ethan a few years ago, so I was 100% sure that he's going to make this company a leading platform in the world. Mark my word.
Okay, I can't wait for this.
I'll be here in 2 years.
All right. Okay, let's do this again in 2 years. All right, cool. But can you tell me, like, really, in a simple way, what is the difference between a narwhal and a freelancer?
A freelancer is project-based that would work in a different. So, just to simplify it more, like. I would like to work on a project that is in a country with a specific contract. It might be short or long, but my job will be done once I'm done with that paper. So whatever is required from the company. A narwhal is somebody who can work part-time for a company with a long-term commitment. So you're part of the team. You're not delivering as somebody who is external, but you're actually working with your peers, with your team members of the company, and you become one of them. But the difference is that you are working less than maybe. But this will change for sure, even in the future. I can see even in Kosovo there are so many companies that have people who are working 20%, 50%. They are going to the office. They are part of the team. They are part of joint projects that they do, but they are not full-time paid there. So this is the difference.
Okay, so it's interesting because you get the benefits. You get the benefits of being the part of the team, part of the vision, of the mission of the company, which you don't. I mean, I am a freelancer. I work on projects. But lately what is happening to me is that with certain companies, with certain clients, I am working on monthly basis.
So you're a narwhal then?
I guess I am, I didn't even know. But the thing is that I mean, they like, of course, they like my work. They like the way we cooperate together, but I still don't feel like a part of their team. And sometimes I feel like a little bit, I would like to feel that,
You see, it's a very important point. So I met a founder of one of the company, and he said, there are so many consultants out there or freelancers that could come and write a business plan for me or write a document for me, which is nice in paper, but who's going to implement that? And if you're also an external person as a freelancer or a consultant, you don't get the inner feeling of this company. You're not part of this culture. So that's why companies now are starting to rethink this approach of work, that they would rather hire somebody with 20% over a period of 1 year, which will cost maybe the same as hiring a consultant or a freelancer for, I don't know, like 2 weeks or something like that. The end result is with with a consultant or freelancer, you might have a lot of documents and good planning and everything. But with Narwhal, you will have an execution. And now with all the changes that are happening with AI and everything, companies really want to have fast results and to execute.
Of course. Interesting. What is your definition? I mean, this is I'm curious about, because I never heard about portfolio career. So what is actually the definition of portfolio career?
Have you ever heard of a portfolio investor?
Yes.
It's the same, but it's with career.
Okay.
So just to simplify it, it's like, there are some people out there that are artists in their soul, and they practice it all the time, but they never benefited financially from that. It was just for themselves. And then they are into financials, which is two different things. But they never thought of working parallel into those things. So you can always make some connection and diversify your portfolio. Things are, moving too fast. So if you were a content creator, you might think that maybe the Canva or many other products will do a lot more work for you than what is needed in the future. So you would think of, okay, what could be next thing that I could learn, and then I can challenge myself to work for a company, because that's the best way to learn. It's not just by having some trainings, but also by working there. So I would divide in two things. One is that there is a connection between the fields of work that you want to do. So you could manage to be a marketing and maybe sales and maybe a manager. There are three different fields. But also there are cases, as I mentioned, that are a bit more extreme, where you have an artist, but you also have a person who is a chief finance officer. In general, the finance officers or CFOs are considered to be, after a while, that they really want to retire early or have to do something else, because it's all numbers and Excels and stuff like that. So they are the ones that really want to add a flavor into their career. So what Narwhals would do is offer a platform where you, as a narwhal, would say, okay, I'm an owner of my own time, and I will decide for myself how I want to distribute that. Will it be 50%, 70%, 80%? You have your own pie. You have your wheel to drive, so you decide that. And we're there to make it easier and to make better connection with the right companies for you.
Awesome. I mean, as I said in the last episode, I'm really looking forward to this, because I see myself as a narwhal, actually, but because of I'm a unicorn, one of a kind, I'm just joking. Do you think that these fractional experts are the workforce of the future?
Well, after pandemic, really, we've seen some shifts of people not wanting to go, firstly, back to office, and then have a full-time job, have a full-time commitment to any specific organization or companies. So they would feel better to have less money, but more of ownership, again, of their own time. Because I guess one thing that we all had as an experience during pandemic time was how important it is to have your own time, because we were almost like robots, going to work, coming back, and not really thinking of ourselves, whether you want to be self-employed or you want to do something more, not just one job. And now with the possibilities of diversifying your work, working remote for international companies, people are more and more attached to this, and And also companies see that, okay, if the result is being achieved, why would I care whether a person is in office or somewhere else? Like, let's say in Netherlands, there are so many companies that even nowadays, they still let 4 days a week to go work from home or whatever they want. So we're still trying to find a way how companies will reorganize the work so that it works well. And as long as employers are happy, companies are even happier. But I would like to mention just one thing. Fractional or narwhal is not for everyone. There are some challenges to that. You have to be highly responsible person. And when I say responsible is really when you take a work to do it in a best possible way. And again, to have this time management, because with time, productivity of an individual increases. With technology, with AI, that also helps. So if you realize that, okay, you can easily do 2 jobs parallel without having mental sickness or something, you're good to go. So there is nothing wrong with that. But it all starts from an individual perspective, from their wishes for their future, and how they want to distribute their time. But I see a lot of future in this when it comes to change of the work mindset, I would say. I've read many articles that they are considering that it's in the next 10 years we will barely have full-time jobs because people want to have that flexibility in general.
The COVID pandemic did a real number on us, right? I mean, yeah. All right, Arta, is there anything else you want to tell us? Did we forget to mention something? Did I forget to ask you something?
This conversation went much faster than I thought.
Okay.
Thank you so much for this nice talk. I just have one very short message to everyone that is watching us. You're the owner of your time. Use it wisely. No job is easy. Hence, you find something that is more rewarding. Narwhal will definitely give you an opportunity to go the extra mile and to test yourself more than your small bubble. So, yeah, I just hope that people invest in themselves much more.
Beautiful, beautiful. Arta, thank you so much for having this conversation with me, and thank you all for listening. As usual, like, share, and subscribe. You know, the usual stuff. And see you in the next one. Cheers.